Alright, so here we're going to review the EPZ Q1 Pro. This is a single dynamic driver set by EPZ. Now before you look up anything about this set, let's play a bit of a guessing game. Okay, I'm going to open up this box, I'm going to show you the IEMs, the cable, everything that comes with it, and then see if you can try to guess the general ballpark about the price. Alright, let's get into the box. There's a little piece of paper here covering it. I'm going to use this pull tab to take the foam out, get the cable underneath that I rolled up poorly, and the cable tie that I removed because I don't want to deal with that, and the inner box. So take that out, take the box away. This was sent to me by EPZ for review, so big thank you to EPZ for that. Let's open up the inner box here, got the accessories. We have a little baggie, some tips, which I can't get for, what the, okay. So they came out the back. Silica gel packet, we have a QC card, and we have the tips. It does come with only one set of tips here, so the medium, large, and the small. It's like one type of tip. And yeah, put that to the side here, and let me take this out of the foam. And I'm going to take the cable off so you can see the cable and the IEM separately here. So here is the cable. I'm not going to say anything about my opinion on it until I reveal the price. So here's the connector. And here's the other, the 2-pin connectors, and yeah, I'll just move that to the side for now. And here's the IEMs. It's a full resin shell, 2-pin, and yeah, what's your guess? Alright, so I'm gonna tell you the answer now. It is in between $30 to $50. Usually you can find it for around 40 bucks. Now, I knew the price of this before receiving it. Of course I did, right? Because I looked it up. But when I opened the box, I still couldn't believe it because this just seems way out of the price range in terms of quality. Like, in just even like build and looks and the cable. This cable is better than cables I've seen with $200 sets. It's a very nice cable. Metal connectors. I really like how like the weaving on the cable is. I think it's a great quality cable. Honestly, I might have even spent 20 bucks for just this cable alone, and that's the majority of the price of the set. Or like almost half. Alright, so the cable is excellent. I love this cable. I might use this on some other IEMs that are more expensive, and I'll put to the side here. And now here is the IEMs themselves. As you can see, it is a really beautiful resin, at least in my opinion. I think this blue resin is gorgeous, and also they are very comfortable. Let me wipe that down because of my fingerprints on it. These, I don't know what they did with the shaping of these. I've never seen an IEM shaped like this, but it is really comfortable for me. It really fits my ears perfectly, and I could wear these for a very long time without issue. Anyway, so that's enough about build, cable, comfort. Let's talk about what you care about, the sound. Now, I do want to say, this has to be the best sounding set I've heard under 50 bucks. I'm going to talk about why in a second, but I just wanted to preface that already. Alright, let's go bass, mids, highs here. Bass is very solid for the price. I will say it's a little bit slow, it could be a bit faster, and it could use a little bit more texture. But I think it is still punchy and good for the price. I think it's a very good amount of bass. I really like the tuning of this set. This set tunes towards a bit darker, so the treble's a bit rolled off. But the bass quantity is just right for me. And the quality is still very good for the price. It falls behind the mid-range in quality in my book, but it's still great bass. Now let's talk about the mids. The mids are smooth, they're detailed, and they have a really good body to them. That's something that a lot of IEMs in this price range kind of suffer from, is poor note weight. But this has really good note weight in the mid-range. Treble-wise, I think the treble is very good. It's got good detail, but as I said, it is a darker set. It is rolled off treble, and it is a very comfortable set to listen to. You don't really will ever get fatigue, at least in my book, on this set of IEMs. I never experienced fatigue or anything like that. Very comfortable to listen to set and to wear. Now, I'm going to bring in, I also talk about the treble actually. Let me talk about the treble first. There's not much to say because it's not very special. It's good treble, it's well detailed, but it is rolled off. You're not going to get crazy extension. It's decent treble for the price. I do want to say, I almost forgot to mention, the upper mids, I found that a few female vocalists sounded a little bit more recessed than I would like, a little bit more pushed back, but overall, the rest of the mid-range is pretty great for the price. I think that there really isn't many issues in terms of the sound signature. I think I can better explain what I think about with the sound when I bring in the comparisons here. We got the EW200 and the 7Hz Zero 2. These are the other two sets I find to be the best under $50. Now, when comparing these sets, I noticed that the detail is pretty much the same on these two, and there's more detail on the EW200 than there is on the Q1 Pro. But the Q1 Pro has a good soundstage. Now, I say it like that because that's really surprising for me in this price range. In this price range of under $50, I don't really hear wide sounding IEMs. Almost always they're, kind of just in your head type sound. That goes for these two as well. Not much staging. These have an actual really good stage and great imaging, which really contributed to the enjoyability of the set for me. Now, when comparing with these, the EW200 was more detailed. Not a lot more, but it has more detail and has better treble performance. And I found the mid-range of the 7Hz Zero to be more engaging. It was also very forward. These are a little bit more pushed back and relaxed, which is another way I like to listen to music. So really it's up to mood for between these two for that aspect of the set. And I found the bass to be a little bit better on both of these sets than this one. The bass is faster on these sets, a little bit more tactile, a little bit more punchy. So that made me wonder, what is it about this set that I like so much more than these two? Because I do think this is the best set under 50. And I mean, these clearly have major strengths over this one. But I really had to think about it, but then I realized it was timbre. Really, the timbre on this set for $50 is incredible. It's another, I'm gonna wipe down the fingerprints on that. It's another really realm, another really another just class above in terms of timbre. When you listen to budget sets and compare them to more expensive sets, something I noticed is that, first of all, like I said, the note weight and the body of the sound, and then also kind of the texture of the mid-range is not as smooth in the lower end sets. You can kind of tell it's not as effortless as it is in the higher end sets. And then that's what these IEMs managed to somehow get a little bit of that higher end set type of timbre and effortlessness when presenting the music. It's just overall, it's a smoother listen, and it's just more effortless sounding, if that makes any sense. The mid-range I find to be a lot smoother than on these two sets, and I found it's just an overall more comfortable listen. The stage is a lot wider than it is on the EW200 and it is on the 7Hz Zero 2, and the imaging is much better on the Q1 Pro. That doesn't mean though that these are definitely don't get these, get this all the time. There are advantages, as I said, with these two sets. One of them being the mid-range on the 7Hz Zero 2 is more forward, but it does sound a little bit thinner. You have more body to the mid-range and the vocals on the Q1 Pro, but they are not as forward as they are on the 7Hz 2, the 7Hz Zero 2. I'm gonna say Zero 2. The Zero 2 is more energetic. It's more lively. It has more energy, and it can be be more fun if you want that kind of energetic sound. I hope you can't hear the motorcycle in the background. It's more energetic, it's more fun in certain times when I'm in the mood for that. But when you're in the mood for more relaxing listen, the Q1 Pro demolishes these. These are not what I would call relaxing listens. And it's very rare to find something so so well done. The tuning is really well done in this price range. Now, in terms of treble performance, the treble is completely demolished by the EW200. EW200 is the best treble under $50. I'm pretty confident about that, at least in my view, from my listening experience. The EW200 demolishes these two in terms of treble performance, but it's still not it still has that under $50 treble kind of a tinge to it. It is definitely not like a $200 IEM treble, and so I actually prefer in the lower end sets to have a more rolled off treble like the Q1 Pro does, because I find that lower end sets still tend to have trouble with treble performance overall. And the EW200, though it is better treble than these two, it's still not extremely well controlled. And I typically don't like this type of signature in comparison to this one. It's too bright for me. It's still, and it has a little bit too little bass compared to these two. I think the bass is very recessed on the EW200 compared to these, but the bass quality on the EW200 is actually better than the Q1 Pro. The EW200 has a faster, more tactile bass response than the Q1 Pro, and it also has a better, more tactile bass response, I think, than the 700, the Zero 2 does. But the Zero 2 is a little bit better than these. So I say, in terms of bass quality, you're gonna go EW200 is first, then this one, then this one. Quantity-wise, it would be most on here, second most, third most. And then mid-range performance, I'd say, is the best on the Q1 Pro, then the Zero 2, then the EW200. And then treble performance-wise, it would be EW200, then I'd say the Q1 Pro, and then the Zero 2. I think the Zero 2, the treble is good, but it lacks a little bit of refinement, a little bit of control. Now, but the big difference for me, the thing that makes me say that I would recommend the Q1 Pro over everything else under 50 has to be that timbre, that soundstage, and the imaging. The timbre, soundstage, and imaging on the Q1 Pro is very impressive for the price. I really was astonished by the quality of the stage, the timbre, and I didn't expect a big timbre difference among 3 single dynamic driver IEMs in the same price point. But it is a really big difference in terms of timbre. And I think that if any of you have one of these sets and then try this out, I think you might be able to also hear the difference as well. That's about it. See ya.